Now let's run this program in the PLSQL program and see how it actually works. PL6, sorry, PL6. All right. So you can see here, first it prints out all the weekdays, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, etc. Then the work week, Monday, Tuesday, etc. First half is this, second half is this, middle week is this. When I do a union, you can see Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Let me see what the union is. You can see the difference how that union is how the union is done. So here's the union. So first half, multi-set union, second half. There is no intersection between the first half and the second half. That's why it gave you everything. But in the second one, we did a union of all three, which is first half, middle, and second half. There are overlaps in between all the three sets. When we do this, look at what happens. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Tuesday, one more time, Wednesday and Thursday. It does. Union of three does is like union all in Oracle. There's no, it doesn't do a distinct only. If you want only distinct, you can do something called union distinct. You can see there multi-set union distinct, the second half and the animal distinct of third, middle week, etc. That gives you the distinct values. Let's see how we can do all these things in Python. In Python, actually, it's really simple. We'll do this way. Here is how it is. First weekdays is Sunday to Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, etc. Here is Monday, Tuesday, etc. First half is this, second half is this, middle week is this, and all that thing. Here is one thing I want to show you that this one is in a curly brace. If you remember from our first half, when the curly brace is used, either use it for dictionary or use it for set operation. There is a difference in set operation. And this is how I do it. First half, union, second half, you simply use this operator, union operator, which is the pipe operator. You can also use the union function to put the first half to second half. Let's see how that actually works. Python thing here. All right, let me go here, Python. Six.txt. Here is the first one I do union. One more time, let me show you the exact value. You can see that. So print first half union operator second half, or first half dot union operator second half. Both at the time we get this, which is a very, very important thing to do, is that you can do union in both ways, pipe character or dot union. You can do these things in many ways as well. So let's see some few things, and I can show that instead of writing a program, I can show that in the Python command prompt. Let's the Python command prompt. First, let me define all these variables. I'm just going to copy and paste to save me some typing. There you go. So let's just make sure that we have all the variables here. Yep, work week is this: Thursday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday. So 5 days is just not done properly, but it's certainly there. Work week, then work week, and work week, then weekdays, weekdays. Weekdays is this: Tuesday, Sunday, all those things. We got 7 days in addition to everything else. Then the first half, I defined Tuesdays, Monday, and Sunday. Second half is this, and middle week is this. This is exactly how I think. So we just saw one example of first half union, second half. We got this thing. So this is the union of two. We can also do something called, let's say we see all three of them. Let's see what happens. Middle week. You see there's a big difference between PL/SQL and here. When I did union of all the three, the overlaps did not appear again. Remember, first half is Tuesday, Monday, and Sunday. I know that from here, Tuesday, Monday, Sunday. Second half is here, Thursday, Wednesday, Saturday, so there is no overlap. But the middle week is Thursday, Wednesday, and Tuesday. So there's overlap from both sides. So, but Python, if I union all three, it didn't do that. So it's behaved almost like the PL/SQL's union distinct as opposed to the simple union. That's a big difference. Let's see some more things. One is called middle week and it's called intersection. The intersection is this operator. So let's say intersection, middle week, and this gives you Tuesday. Tuesday is overlapping between the two of them. Uh, Middle half and second half to Thursday and Wednesday. It's the intersection of both of them. Yeah, of course, just like the first one, you can also put this way. First half dot intersection within parenthesis middle week. You can do that as well. This is the same thing as the intersection operator. Because this is a set, you can also subtract as well. So let's say we subtract it by first half minus middle week. When you do that, it takes away what's in the middle week and leaves what's in the first half, only those portions, which is Sunday and Monday, which is exactly what you wanted. Or it's called difference functionality. You can also use another function called difference to do the same thing. Difference as well. It's the exact same thing. If you want to have a symmetric difference, which is there in which is present in either set 1 or set 2 but not in both. So in that case, let's say middle week, that's this operator, the caret operator. Where is my caret operator? There you go, 6, which you can see here, which is either in the first half or in the middle week half a set, but not in both of them, not intersection. So basically this is first half union middle week minus intersection of both of them. So that kind of gives you the same thing. So like first half, middle week, and then minus first half and intersection of middle week. Same thing, something. So this is just a varieties of operators for you to do that. Now I just showed you before is because it's a set, you can also find out if first half is greater than middle week. Is it greater than equal to middle week? No, it's not. Is weekdays greater than middle week? Of course it is greater than equal to middle week, etc. So this is something you can do it. Greater than equal to, there is a difference between greater than equal to and simply greater than. Simply greater than operator is actually called proper superset. That means S1 is actually more greater than S2 and S1 is not equal to S2. That's the thing. So it is true. But if we do, let's say weekdays is greater than equal to middle week, weekdays, what do you think will happen? It will be true because weekdays is greater than or equal to weekdays, same thing. But if I want to do this, it will be false because it's not a proper superset. It's not a superset of weekdays. So that you can see that the difference of this one. Similarly, a subset is just the opposite of this one. Is a proper subset of this? No. Is middle week a proper subset? Of course it is a proper subset. So we got that as well. So if you want to find out if they're exactly same, you just saw that before, which is equal to operator. We saw that as well. And middle week is equal to weekdays? No, it's not. But let's say we assign another variable here, middle week, called mid week, and we assign it here middle week. I'm sorry, not equal to by fault. Middle week is assignment operator. At this point, middle week and midweek are the same variables, but are the same. We do this, yeah, it is true. So you can see that I can see the set operation as well. So this is how we can do a lot of things in Python in set operations and using collections. As you saw in this case, Python, collections are much more powerful compared to PL SQL. Not only you don't have to define them, you can create and simple operators that will make you very, very useful to the things like set operations and collection, which makes Python a very good data manipulation language. All right. One thing we do see here, last one we saw two things, associative array and the nested tables. The third one in PL SQL is called a vary, V-A-R-A, or variable array. So it's just like a PL SQL tables, these are ordered, so there is no index, so there's just one value. But the difference is that the maximum number of elements is fixed at the declared time. So for example, this is an example. It says here type, so there's a pointer. So type ty weekdays list is that's a type is a var array 7. 7 is the maximum amount of elements I have. I can define in this. I can extend it afterwards, but I have to fix it when the time of declaration of elements and of varchar 3. And the way I address it is using the same thing as I use nested tables, which is the PLS integer index to go to a specific one. I haven't seen much use of VARS in the real life, and Python doesn't have an equivalent of that. But if you think about Python list and tuple, they're exactly like array. The only difference is that Python doesn't force you to restrict the number of elements at the design time, runtime, because first of all, there is no declared time to begin with. You just simply assign the value. So there is nothing called defining the maximum amount of elements at the declared time. So that's not even important. So Python naturally doesn't have it. Just for the sake of completeness, let's just see how that actually looks like. So you can just see the difference. Um, Let me just see Python here. PL SQL 7. And this is array. You can see that type array. There's weekdays, number list, weekdays. I define it here, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, etc. Count. And I use the word count to show how many things are there. Well, in this case, I know it's 7, but it doesn't have to be 7. This is the maximum number of elements. I may have less than 7 over here, and this is how I do it. So you can see here, this is very, very close to nested loops. Nothing much difference here. And we saw that earlier in how we saw in Python using the other commands like this, which is this one. So weekdays, Sunday, Monday, etc. We can do that. Where here I use the word set. I can use a list. Remember, how do I do a list? So instead of doing this, let's say just like I have here v weekdays here. If I want to use the exact same variable name in Python, I will simply use v weekdays equal to, remember how do I do a list? By square brackets. And I put here Sunday, Monday, and all the things. I'm just going to copy it here so to save myself some time. And actually it's going to error out for a reason, because I have two single quotes. I'm going to remove it. There you go, v weekdays. So if we have the v weekdays as opposed to weekdays, you can see here, weekdays here, I have a curly brace, which is a set, as opposed to list, which is not a set, which is a list operation. And how do I get these things? Very, very simple thing. How do I get all the variables here? Well, first I can simply put v week underscore days. I can get this one. But if I want to do something like what I've done here, like for example, I'm getting out each element and then printing out each element one by one. If I want to do that, then here in Python, I will simply do this for I in, just like this. Remember, I have to do one dot dot, the end, how many elements I have here. But of course, I don't have a one dot dot as notation in Python. In Python, I have another function called range function. Remember, in range, I have to go from 0, which is the beginning of the array, to the end of the array, to the count. So I don't know the count yet because this is something dynamically created. So to do the count, I have to use this function called len. Within parenthesis, v underscore week underscore days. And I do a semicolon, colon to mark the end of if, and then print. I have to do an indentation because that's the mark of the if block. I, comma, v week days within square brackets, I, end bracket. That's it. And then nothing else after that. I want to do it. It just prints out everything. This is how I make the difference between the two. Few things I have to say that 0 and it starts with 0 and ends with 6, and that's why I gave here a range length v weeks. By the way, if I do length v weeks, what do I get? I should get, let's see. I should get 7. Why? Because I have 7 elements in this array. That's why I got 7. So in that case, is it 0 dot dot 7? Yes, it is 0 dot dot 7. But the difference is that the last at in the range in Python, the highest high number which you have in the range, it is never executed. It never reaches that. It's up to that, but not including that. So if it is range 7, it means 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, not 7. So that's why I could go to 7. Um, Few things you might be wondering at this point is that, okay, let's just say this is v weekdays. Let me define another variable called, let's say, v um, weekdays, let's say v weekends. And in that weekends, I'm just going to remove everything except the weekends. All right, this is the thing. Now I have two variables, weekdays, this, and weekends. Remember I did the set operation before? So let me see what happens in this set operation over here if I do this. So is v weekdays a superset of v weekends? The weekends is false. The set operation does work. What about union operation? Intersect operation. You can see that here this is not supported. This intersection operation, union operation, etc. is not supported for list. This is something is only your set operation. So put that in mind, that this set operation over here, which is done by a set is defined by curly braces and not by square brackets, as we saw here. So that's the difference between set operations, sets and lists in Python. Okay, so that's kind of concludes our definition of the different collection types in PL SQL and how they relate to in Python. Let's go through a quick summary to find out what we understood is correct, and in very quick summary. Here is the first one, nested tables in PL SQL. You define the nested table using this type. Weekdays is a table of varchar 3. It's the simplest collection, just one element in each one of them, and you simply address them by using this position, which is 0, I'm sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. You go to the position and you get that out of here. Very simple thing. In Python, the equivalent one is, there are three equivalent, the three types of thing. It's called list. You can do this way. Tuple, you can do this way. Only difference is that in tuple, you cannot change anything after you define it. List, you can of course change it. And this is how you reference a value there using the I starts with 0 and goes up 2 on the end, last one. So you can, instead of PL SQL, which is from 1 and goes up. In there is no equivalent of set in PL SQL. In PL SQL is just the same, collection is collection. This is a PL SQL table, nothing, I mean a nested table, nothing different. The second one is called associative array, which is also called PL SQL table, and this is how you define it. Instead of saying in a position of the element in the array determines the value, instead of that you actually have a named index in this case. So for example, let's say I want to define a very simple array, the abbreviation of the days and the full description of the days, sun for Sunday, Fry for Friday, etc. If I want to do them this way and to display them, you can do this way. So here you can see v weekdays sun, this is the key and this is the value, if you will. Actually in PL SQL this is called index, this is the value. In case of Python, you do the curly braces, you do the key colon value comma key colon value comma etc. and you define it. That simply defines a collection variable, and there is no limit to how much you do it after. You can keep on extending it. You can keep on adding to that. You can change a specific one, etc. And it is very, very useful for defining something that, let's say, books and authors we saw before. An example of that. That's something you would get, I think, in collection variables by using. Think of this as a table in Oracle. So this is a table is just two columns, the primary key column and some kind of description column, for example. The primary key will be key and the value will be the description column. That's it. And the table simply keeps on growing. This is how you do in Python. Okay, so this is about summary. Let's to make sure that you understood everything correctly, we just have a quiz, just like anything else. So please, after thing, I will pause after each question. I ask you to pause it, get the answer, because the answer will be displayed right after that. First question, is this following valid? You can see here is this is a list because it's a square brackets on both sides. If it is not valid, tell me why it's not valid. Pause the screen, and when you're ready to see the answer, unpause it. It is valid. Remember, in Python, lists are merely list of variables. There is no restriction as to they have to be the same data type, unlike in PL SQL. So here we have 100, 200, 300, which numbers, and then it's a characters, etc., which is perfectly fine. There's absolutely nothing wrong with this one. Is this valid? This is an interesting thing. It's not even data type. It's actually different things I put it together, like different types of parentheses, etc. No, it's completely valid. The last two elements are merely an empty tuple. So this one is a tuple. This is a list. Remember, tuple is nothing but a list which is read-only. You cannot change it. And list is nothing but a bunch of list of things. It is perfectly okay to have a null list and a null tuple, and which is part of a malist. Remember, in collections in Python, don't have to have the same data type, so you can have this thing. In fact, you can even write this way, because you can write even a list within a list. We can certainly put it as well. So you can have nested lists and all the thing, which is perfectly fine. Question 3. This couldn't be valid. There got to be something wrong with this one. Particularly, look at this one. None. I don't have any single quotes around it. Will this cause a syntax error? And if so, at what point? Pause the question, pause the screen, and unpause when you're ready to see the answer. It is perfectly valid. None is similar to null in PL SQL in Python. It just simply means that it's a placeholder. If you print my list 4, you will not see any output for that particular one, which is important. None is actually a keyword, which is very similar to null. What point this will throw a syntax error in this thing? Pause the screen and unpause when you're ready to see the answer. Nowhere. This is a perfectly valid syntax. The trailing comma will simply be ignored. It's actually the trailing comma has another usage in Python. You'll see actually afterwards, but the trailing comma will simply be ignored. It's not wrong. It's completely valid syntax, which is not the same thing in PL SQL, because the trailing comma will not be ignored. It has to be either removed or somehow rewritten. Okay, here is another interesting twist. I put a square brackets on the left side and the parenthesis on the right side. Will this work? Pause the screen and unpause when you're ready for the answer. No, this is not actually a valid syntax. You might have seeing all the square brackets and parentheses, or this kind of a flexible language. You can do anything you want. Not really. You cannot do this one. The left side square brackets means is a list, but it has to end the square bracket to make it a list. You didn't. You may put a parenthesis, which is the ending for a tuple. So you can't do that. You can't mix the two parentheses or two brackets. You got to be of the same type. Either it is a list or a tuple, not both at the same time. Question 6. Tell me what will be the result or the output when you enter all these commands one by one. Pause the screen, and when ready for the answer, unpause. It will fail. So what happens here is, because I have put parenthesis, which makes it a tuple. Remember, tuple is nothing but a list, but a read-only list. When I do append, a tuple does not allow alterations. Remember, it's a read-only. As a result, this will fail. At this point, it will fail, so my list will simply show what is already there: 10, 100, 200, 300, etc. So it's not going to be any use. This is a syntax error will be thrown at line number 2. So if you wanted to make it an appendable or modifiable collection, you have to make it a list by using square brackets. Question 7. What will be the output of the following if you put it one by one? See that very carefully. My list has two fives. Okay, pause the screen and unpause when you're ready for the answer. If you have answered 7, you would be wrong. Yes, there are 7 elements I have defined here. But remember how I put this the parenthesis at the between to enclose them. This is a curly brace. Curly brace means this is a set. A set in Python means is an ordered collection and no duplicates. It does allow duplicates to be entered, but it ignores them. So when I put two fives in there, it's going to throw away one five. As a result of that, the length of this collection will be 6. Although you have passed 7 items, the extra 5 will be dropped. This is a very important property. It will not throw a syntax error. It will accept it, but it will simply put only 6 elements and not 7 elements. Very important property. Keep it in mind, otherwise you may introduce few bugs. Question number 8. What will be the output of the following? My list is this, and then my list. Pause the screen and unpause when you're ready for the answer. It will print 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Why? Because remember, I put curly braces, which means a set. A set is an ordered collection. So even though I entered 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, is going to display it and store it as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And even though entered, if I want to store it in a reverse manner, I have to do something called dot reverse to store it in a reverse manner. So this is a very important thing. Just because I entered an unique and ordered set of collections, Python is going to interpret it and store it also as ordered collection, but in a ascending order, not descending order. In the previous question, you declared a set called myList. You want to reference the third element of the collection. How do you address it? MyList or myList3? Just to refresh your memory, I'm going to show you this thing. So myList, I just put, instead of the curly braces, I just put square brackets to make it a list. And I want to add the third element of the collection. I am declaring a set called myList. Here is the thing. I can't do it. The moment I put a set, once again I go back here, let me see. Curly brace is a set. The moment I define something as a curly brace, I cannot reference the columns in 2, 3, etc. I have to address this as a third element. I have to address it as using complete set or as a specific key value pair, and otherwise you'll throw an error. If you want to reference by index, you use a list or a tuple. So this list is not for everything. It's just important to have as a set. A set is good for set operations, but if you want to reference by a specific element in there, it's not going to be useful. Is use a list operation. You want to declare a tuple, which has only one string value, that is Saturday. So this is how you write it. Remember, only one string value, Saturday. Will it work? Pause the screen and unpause when you're ready for the answer. It will not. It will merely create the character string variable called Saturday, not a tuple variable. To create a tuple variable, you have to use this funny syntax, I would say. Just one variable, comma, and then leave nothing after that. So this is how you do it. You create a tuple variable. Use just one element. Question number 11. You want to create a collection of weekdays. Since the weekdays don't change, they will remain the same. You create a tuple, which is nothing but a read only, right? You know that. So this is how you create them as a tuple, as is shown below. So you can create them tuple as thing: days, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, etc. Then you suddenly discover that oops, I forgot to include Thursday. I'm sorry, include for Saturday here. Since this is a tuple, I can't use append, right? In this case, what's going to happen? So then I must drop and recreate that variable. Actually, nothing called drop variable. I have to redefine the variable, or I can, because I've used it a lot of places. So I don't want to just drop and recreate it or recreate that at all. I want to leave it like that. This is how you do it. Just because a tuple is not updatable doesn't mean that you can assign something to the tuple. So here is an example. I created another tuple called Saturday right here with just one value. Then I added that Saturday to this tuple. So even though you cannot modify a tuple, you can add or subtract value, one tuple from another tuple. You can do that. So that's the advantage of using tuple. So at this point, if you display the tuple, you will get this thing as example thing. You have that Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and you can get that Saturday as well. So that's it. That's a quiz. Hopefully you answered all the questions correctly, and that's the end of the discussion on collections in Python. Hope you enjoyed it. Next, we talk about something very interesting called creating exceptions in PL SQL. How to do create exceptions in Python, and how to create functions.